Breaking news. India's children are lacking of food and education.
Breaking news. The drinking water supply and sanitation in India continue to be inadequate.
Breaking news. 11% of India's population is only covered by state and
The number of graduates in India are rapidly declining.
Breaking news. India's government is in serious need of a renovation.
Breaking news. The inequality between men and women in India continues to rise.
Here I have $1.25 in my hand. What can I do with this? Not much. What most people don't realize is that 33% of India's population is living off of this. It's common sense. You can't attend a university with $1.25. You can't bring food for a family with $1.25. You can't live a healthy life with $1.25. But what is India's government going to do with this? We're about to find out.
India's pride lies in having the longest and the most detailed constitution of the world. But on the other hand, the government is not up to the norms. Governance problems in India include lack of education, corruption in the country, inadequate public health, and most importantly, poverty.
For every bad, there is a good. By this, we mean that there is a solution to everything. As right now, India has one of the largest growing economy in the world, and the third largest standing army. The population of India is demanding a change for the country. Let's see what they are saying.
India is a beautiful country made up of over 1.2 billion people, with an economy that is trending up, becoming the world's fastest growing major economy in 2014. The country still faces difficult situations. The wide-ranging population of India is beneficial to its economy due to the fact that population growth is correlated to technological advancements, meaning an increase in labor force. However, most labor is occupied by those who have the privilege to get an education. The problem here is a lot of India's population don't have the requirements needed for the jobs, which is a degree. Only about 10% of students have access to an education in the country. A recent survey of employment patterns in the workforce points to the disturbing fact that rapid growth in the economy does not increase the jobs in the country. So if the fast-growing economy of India is not increasing jobs, then what is? Well, by bringing in supply and increasing the export and import facilities in the country with India's allies, the country has a possible chance of increasing its employment. Minimal work is being done about this situation, and the government does not seem to get the message that its people are suffering. To explain in further detail, in 2005 and 2010, fewer than 3 million new jobs were added to the economy. This worries the population due to the fact that about 12 million people join the workforce every year. Not to mention, India's government is not at its best position. India expects their high economy to straighten their not-so-stable government. The increased number of corruption in India has damaged the government's credibility, which has caused loss in tax revenues that lead to income inequality in the country. One of the worst things that could happen in the country is that people are affected socially by their country's economy due to poverty, poor education, lack of proper infrastructure, and corruption. What this country has to think about is its population first, then its rankings in the world. Yes, India has changed drastically from previous years, but if India's population is not being affected positively, then its country is not advancing. Now that we know a little bit about India's poor government, here is Carlos Ramos to explain to us how the population is reacting to this.
Some 150 million Indian workers have staged a nationwide strike to protest against the government's economic policies. Workers in different sectors, such as banking, manufacturing, construction, and coal mining, walked off their jobs. 10 major unions have also joined the 24-hour strike, demanding the government drop plans to sell off stakes in state-run companies and to shut down unproductive factories. The unions also demand urgent measures to contain the price rise and unemployment. They called on the government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to provide Social Security cover for all workers, raise their minimum wage, and enhance their pensions. The strike has also affected public transport and air travel.
Political ideas have affected India in a negative way. Let's learn more about them now.
The Indian culture is very ethnocentric. They believe their way is the right way, such as their culture. In a way, though, it's sort of ironic how they believe in such a specific way of doing things. That a while back they were imperialized by the British. With that era being over, they have a federal republic government. This is a federation of states with a democratic form of government. Although this form of government gives people a voice, there was a point where this country had none at all. They don't necessarily participate in elections since their country's president is chosen for them, though they can directly share key issues with their prime minister. Continuing nearly 40 years ago, this country was in a bad form of government control. India had released an aggressive mass sterilization program. There wasn't anything the men could argue against. India has extreme which leads towards not being one of the safest countries. Yes, India's government has corrupted at land at a certain point, but recently they have not been affected in a negative way economically.
Now that we covered more about political and economic problems, let's get into further detail about the social problems and neighbor revolution.
India has many problems that are leading to devolution. Some forces that India has that are bringing people back is it has a very high economic, which is also known as the largest growing economy. Some forces that India has that are separating people is many of India's population are in poverty. That money they receive, it will go to the rich people instead of going to the poor people that need more of it than the rich people do. Another forces are education and healthcare. They have very bad education that they have school under a bridge. They are low in resources for healthcare. India became the crown jewel of the British Empire. The British was taking over India's way of living, colonizing in the state, and the social reason is architecture. India has 6 issues to discuss with the government. One of them is having a good education because it's not in good conditions. Another issue is having access to jobs, and healthcare is another big problem. Another big issue is to address the equality between men and women. Crime and violence also comes along. One of India's culture was religion, which was the teaching of Buddhism, which spreads to China, Asia, and other places. Many inequalities exist within Indian society. Some of them are inequality of landholding, property, gender. They really need to fix those problems. The social problems of this country has caused major problems with India's population. Let's see how people feel specifically about rape.
दिल्ली वाले में हमने पर्सनली मैं इंटीग्रल का स्टूडेंट हूँ. मैंने फील किया ऐसा कि लड़की के साथ गलत हुआ. वो मेरे यहाँ की रहती मेरे यहाँ की थी, मेरे जिले की थी, मैं जहाँ का हूँ, लेकिन वो गलत थी. लेकिन ये बताइए क्या लड़की को 1 बजे रात को निकल कर पिक्चर हॉल जाना सही है? 1 मिनट, 1 बजे रात का इसलिए मैटर था कि वो लड़के के साथ निकली थी, अपने उसका बॉयफ्रेंड था, ना कि कोई फैमिली मेंबर था. 1 बजे रात को नहीं जाना, फैमिली के साथ
घर के अंदर भी तो होता है. जिसे कुछ पता ना हो ना, जिसे इस बारे में किसी कुछ पता भी नहीं चलता, बहस नहीं करनी चाहिए. निकलते हैं पहले पूरी जानकारी बच्चे के साथ होता है तो उसकी क्या गलती है? ऐसे बोल दे रहे हैं. चलिए अरे तो खुद शरीफ हो, अगर लड़की से जा रही तो मत देखो. क्या तुम्हारा फर्ज यही बनता है कि अगर हम अकेले जा रहे हैं तो क्या रेप कर दोगे?
India has enormous potential for further growth, but faces great political and social challenges. A revolution is a requirement in order for this country to succeed. The high economy of India needs to be put in practice in a way that treats everyone equally. To end poverty, the minimum wage of a person has to increase. Many things have to balance in order to make this country better. For example, if the country gives more opportunities for students to attend universities, then that would increase the educational system of the country, meaning less unemployment. The government will also benefit from this.
Lastly, the last step they should take is to increase healthcare services since a lot of people are having many problems because of poverty. I believe we should need people from the country, but if that doesn't work, the backup plan would be people from other countries because we have good allies such as the United States and Russia.
John Locke's ideas are known worldwide and used in many countries such as the United States. His ideas of governmental checks and balances were used in the U.S. Constitution. Not only this, but he also expressed the view that government is obligated to serve its people by protecting life, liberty, and property, something that India should keep in mind.